development.
Welcome back. As we promised, we are going to continue covering the Gulf tour of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, which took him to Qatar and is going to be extended to Kuwait in the coming hours. And to shed more light on the issue, on the timing of the tour, on the talks which were held yesterday between President al-Sisi and Qatar Emir Sheikh Hamad regarding a number of issues of mutual concern, bilateral ties, and also the regional situation, specifically what's going on in the Palestinian territories. We are very much delighted to have with us via phone Dr. Hassan Wagih, our political expert and our expert in international relations. Thank you very much for being with us, sir, and a very good morning.
Good morning to you.
And sir, before going into the details and before going into the agenda of talks of the president, whether with Prince Tamim or after that with the top officials of Kuwait, tell me about the timing of the event as the Israeli strikes and aggression unfortunately are continuing in Gaza at a time that Egypt, along with the Qatari mediators, are exerting the utmost efforts to return back to the ceasefire agreement. Hello?
Oh, yes.
Have you heard me, sir?
Yes, I can hear you now. Yes.
Should I repeat my question?
Yes, please.
Okay, sir, I was speaking about the timing of the Gulf tour of the president, as it's coming in a very critical timing and where the Israelis are continuing their strikes and their aggression on Gaza, while the Egyptian and the Qatari mediators are trying their best to return back to the ceasefire agreement, and the president put the Palestinian cause on top of the agenda of talks with the Qatari Emir.
Yes, of course. The timing is very important, and you know, the president is exerting all possible efforts, all possible avenues, so as to de-escalate, so as to get the Palestinian cause on the right track for the international arena as a whole. And of course, in doing that, he's cementing all Arab relations and go into much more detail, especially with the Qatari, who are supposed to be our joint mediator.
Yeah.
So as they can come up with a strong stance towards ending that kind of atrocities as the genocide war, and to get the whole thing on the right track.
Yeah. And also, in fact, in all the meetings of the president, whether the ones which took place just a few days ago when French President Emmanuel Macron was here, they both also tackled this issue, and they also tackled the preparations of the expected conference on Gaza, the construction process of Gaza due to be held here in Cairo with full cooperation and coordination with the United Nations. How do you see also putting this on the agenda of talks, sir?
Of course, this will tell the entire world that Egypt is moving towards de-escalating and towards solving the problem, getting all partners in the world, whether the European Union, the Arab countries, and you know, you have mentioned the visit of President Emmanuel Macron, and I think that that was an extremely very important visit, and the events that took place are great when it comes to Egypt to try to show how cultural as well as political diplomacy should make a difference for the world opinion. And I think that the coverage of this particular visit highlighted the role of cultural diplomacy Egypt is very distinguished with. And I think that the coverage all over the world showed how the people of Egypt are supporting the president, are giving him all the carte blanche to behave the way he is doing it, addressing the soft power of Egypt and addressing the hard power of Egypt. Egypt needs both powers to play its
And
role in
showing
this
how
area.
Egypt is that secure, is that safe, is that ready to receive all the top dignitaries coming from all over the world. And of course, there's nothing bigger or there's nothing more to show this issue like the tour or the picnic, which
No,
President Sisi.
it is not a tour. Of course, it was a tour, yes, but it has a great deal of messages.
Yes.
The greatest message was uttered by the president himself when he said that that is the place where he lived his early childhood and adolescence, and he at that time
And
he
people
saw
were dealing with him this
the
way. But
people,
sir, I'd like
Jews,
to
Muslims,
return back to the
Christians,
Gulf tour of the
all
president.
affiliations were there.
Yeah.
It is a cosmopolitan area.
Yeah.
It shows how people, Egyptian people, cementing relations with all people who may be different.
And we are ready to receive all. They are all our guests. I mean,
Exactly.
in most cases, even our tourists are our guests more than anything else. And I'd like to return back to the Gulf tour of the president and his talks there. But before that, because as you know, sir, I'm always happy to see the opportunity when I talk with an expert in international relations and also a professor of linguistics, because here I will mention, if you permit me, one of the statements which were said by Macron when he was leaving Egypt. When he left Egypt, he said, "I came as a person and I left as another person." How do you see the statement?
Yeah, this is tells you how Egyptian generosity when it comes to the human level is there. And I think that when you are talking about humanity, you are talking about we are talking about this country raises the torch of peace, friendship, and social interactions with all people from different affiliations. And I think that one of the most important things, let us remember that Herodotus, when he came here, the Greek philosopher, who is also a historian, he said, in Egypt there are so many wonders that challenge description. And I think that in particular what President Macron has felt is that when he witnessed that kind of popularity in a very stormy area. There are wars in the all four fronts of Egypt, but Egypt is safe. Egypt is showing another wonder, the wonder of the people who are cementing their relations with their leadership.
Yeah. And because of that, when President Sisi met with the Qatari business community in the capital Doha, he was speaking with that kind of confidence about the positive environment, about the Egyptian promising opportunities for Qatari investors, and about the many horizons, the many spheres, the many fields of investment which can absorb more and more foreign direct investment in Egypt. And by all means, it's going to be a win-win situation. If you want to also elaborate on that.
Yes, of course, Egypt leaves no chance but to tell people that this country is very prepared to host and to encourage investment. All the elements are there, manpower is there, big market for consumption is there. Egypt really attracted a lot of investment recently, and the president is very keen to enhance this kind of opportunities for all those who would like to have safe investments and to enjoy good return also. So I think that this is part of the leadership duties, and they are doing it in a very meticulous way. So I hope that will turn out to be a great thing for Egypt and for the Arab area at large.
And in fact, when the president was addressing this meeting, I mean with the Qatari business community, he spoke about what's going on and the challenges which are really facing the whole world. And here we're talking about the Arab world from the economic side, starting with the lockdown of the COVID-19 and the inflation which resulted, going through to reach what's going on these days with the trade tensions, with the Trump tariffs, you name it. There are a lot of factors or a lot of challenges facing the whole world. And he also stressed the importance of cooperating together to face all these things, because we do not have the luxury of acting alone, of acting unilaterally. If you want to also elaborate on that, sir.
Yes, as you have already mentioned, this important word, no one in the world could act unilaterally. There is no way that people would go for one-track mindedness. And I think that this is very important to have this unilateral, multilateral, from unilateral to multilateral cooperation. And also, this is very important to have this kind of cooperation among Arab countries who share us a lot of things. And we are supposed, this would help the Arab system to rise again, because absence of the Arab system led foreign interventions to occur, and this is not in the sake of anyone in the area.
Amen to that, sir. And to continue with what you're saying, sir, the president was also keen to mention the partnership between the public and private sectors, because simply when it comes to the economy of any big country, the public sector, of course, it has a role, and the major national projects, they really have such a role, but also the private sector should have, let's say, or let's describe it this way, the lion's share. Because without a lion's share of the private sector, nothing can be achieved on the ground. How also do you see this as one of the priorities of the Egyptian state in general?
Yes, of course, Egypt is opening up the floor for more liberal, controlled economy, not the wild liberal atmosphere, but the balanced liberal atmosphere. And I think the private sector here should play an important role. And let us remember that Egypt's economy still witness the achievement of these public servants, like when you remember figures like Talat Harb, the Egyptian economist, who really established many institutions, and these institutions are flourishing from the day of the British occupation till now. So I think we have evidence of how private institutions should grow and should help the state. The state should organize economy. The state should pour its efforts in grand mega projects, as we have seen in the infrastructure, and to say to the entire people, to the investors and to private sectors and other sectors, yes, you have the infrastructure here, come and invest. And I think this is the most important role the country can play to help the private sector flourish and have some kind of good ground to grow.
Dr. Hassan, I want to thank you twice. First, for mentioning Talat Harb, because he's one of my favorites, and it's enough to say that all the institutions he built under the name of Misr, starting from Studio Misr to the banks, to the companies, to whatever it is, it's including Misr, to let the whole world know about Misr, which is Egypt, and again, for being all the time an added value to our programs. Dr. Hassan, thank you very much for being with us. Well, right after the short break, we are going to return back with more, so stay tuned.